Hello and welcome to the channel. The other day I was looking around at my wagons and found that I had quite a few that had no roofs. So I thought I'd do a tutorial on how to make some. We have two types of wagon here. We have a Hornby type, like this Thomas one, and we have an old forTri-ang version here. I don't know if you can see that the curvature at the top here is actually slightly different. So the templates that we've come up with will cater for both of those. So the first thing to do is to download your templates from dbzart.com. This is V2 and this is version 1. I'm going to start with version 1. First off, I shall cut out a template, a single template, to make life easier. I've selected the forTri-ang one here because the forTri-ang has the deeper round roof. Now, just to check, some of these old ones have shrunk, so these may not fit. That's going to be a tight fit, so I'm going to just trim a little bit off. Trim a little bit off either side. I should now do the same with the other end. We don't want these to be too tight. I will now glue these to some 1mm card. This is for rigidity, stiffness. I use a Pritt stick. Allow these to dry. Right, we come back to the next stage here. This is going to be glued onto 250 GSM card, which is approximately the size of a cardboard box from like a cereal box. So that's what I'm going to use now. Again, for this process I will use a Pritt stick. I always use a piece of scrap paper for putting the glue on so it doesn't get everywhere. cut this out. These are set at 28mm, which was the measured, sorry I should say 60mm. That was the distance that was on the Hornby wagons when I first did this project. I've since found out that when you use these old forTri-ang wagons, they may have shrunk. So it's best to measure the inside distance. We have here, it's actually 2mm smaller. So what I shall do, if I can find the pencil, we're going to draw these lines 1mm in. Right, we're now going to put this on the back side of the card. Again, still using Pritt stick. That one is showing slightly. Now this particular roof model, I use pins, needlework pins. First off, puncture the holes. This is not an easy task. I tend to use a pair of pliers to hold the pin. Make sure the pin will go all the way through. I'll now use a Bostik all-purpose glue. Doesn't require much, just a dab. Other glues may be usable too. And just put a small dab on each of these spots. Take your 8 pins and push them all the way through. Now, push down. Make sure the pins are well set into the roof. Using a pair of cutters, we can cut these off so they're flush with the roof. Just wipe off the excess glue. This Bostik is a rubbery solution, so it tends to wipe off quite easily. Right, we'll go back to this one. We're going to cut these out now. Check it still fits with your wagon. We're now going to glue these on the underside of here. Help form the roof by putting a bit of a curve into it before we start. I now use super glue. Super glue helps the rigidity and of course it's quick drying. Line up on the inside of the lines that you've drawn. I allow 20 seconds. Right, check that it still fits. Yes, it does. Right, now for the lines. I tend to use solder. I'll just pull some solder off. And back to the super glue. And just lay the wire over the black line. Be very careful not to get super glue on your fingers. Once dry, cut off the excess. Right, we'll now have my 50% PVA and water with a bit of detergent in it, and we're going to paint this now. This will help solidify the paper and the card and glue everything together. Paint the inside as well, especially the edge of the card. Leave to dry. Whilst this one's drying, let's try version 2. As before, I will cut out the template for one. I'm going to do a Hornby one this time, so we'll cut out the smaller one. As before, glue them onto 1mm card. Leave that to dry for a little while. We'll stick this to a piece of 250 GSM card or a cereal box. these also need to be glued to the 250 GSM card. We'll leave those two to dry for a little while. Right, we'll cut these out now. Right, check for a fit. Sit tight. Oh, this is really tight. There you go, nice tight fit now. Leave that there from that. Do this. Check the fit's okay. That's good. Now measure the distance between the things, between the ends. And we've got 61 there. And we've got 60 there, so that's fine. We will glue to the inside of these lines. In the meantime, we will put the roof outer cover on. As before, a line centrally. Press down. Fold the flaps over. Cut these other bits out carefully. I'm going to use scissors for this one. This time we're going to glue these onto the roof. And these will go equidistant along one edge. that you have the same gap at either end. And the same for the other side. As before, try and put some bend in the roof. This being a Hornby, doesn't need to be quite as vigorous as the Tri-ang. Good old super glue again, which is proving to be problematic. I think I'm going to need to get a new one of these. I'm going to use a pair of pliers this time. Line it up with the black marks. And apply pressure. Check it fits. And now paint with the PVA solution once more. Work the PVA into the edges. This will seal the cardboard and has the effect of actually turning the cardboard into a plastic sheet. And just like the previous one, we will leave to dry. This generally doesn't take too long. Temperature is around 20 degrees today. This one is dry already. This one is dry already. So we'll wait for that one to dry. After the glue has set, I've sprayed them black. Bear in mind this was an old Tri-ang that's warped like anything. Well, I hope you agree with me that that's made a huge improvement. You don't have to paint them black. I just find that black is more consistent with the type of roof that went on these wagons. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now.